You don't need others to approve you. You need to stop waiting for other people to tell you that you are good enough. That is the first truth. Because when you let others decide your value, when you need their praise, support, or attention, you are giving away your power. It's like giving them a pen and letting them write your price tag, even though they don't really know your true value. Here's the truth. Most people can't see your full worth. Why? Because they are too busy looking through their own problems and pain. But when you know your worth, you move in a new way. You speak with confidence, you make better choices. Choices that come from love, not fear. People will notice. They may not say anything, but they feel it. They see that you no longer accept less than you deserve. You stop trying to be smaller. You stop trying to please everyone. You stop asking for permission to be yourself. You just be yourself. But learning your worth takes time. It doesn't happen in one day. It's something you choose every day. You wake up, look in the mirror, and choose to love yourself, even on hard days. You remind yourself that your past does not decide your value. Your mistakes don't take away your worth. Even if people don't see you or understand you, you are still valuable. You really start to know your worth when you stop explaining your boundaries and start keeping them. When you let silence answer disrespect. When you no longer need to prove yourself to anyone. Because here's the truth. Your worth is not something you earn. It's something you already have. Remember your worth. You are a miracle. A beautiful work in progress. You are here for a reason. Inside you, there is strength, kindness, wisdom, and deep understanding. And if someone can't see that, if they don't respect it, it just means they aren't ready for it. And that's okay. Knowing your worth also means you are okay when people walk away. Because when they leave, your value doesn't leave with them. Your worth stays. It always stays. You are not less important just because someone didn't choose you, didn't respect you, or didn't stay with you. That's their limitation, not a reflection of your life. You are not defined by how people treat you. You are defined by how you treat yourself. If you want the world to take you seriously, you must start by taking yourself seriously. That means the way you speak to yourself, the way you support yourself when no one else does. That is where it begins, and don't ever feel sorry for that. There's a moment, a tiny moment, right after someone disrespects you. Your body tenses, your heart beats fast. Your pride rises like a wave. In that moment, you have a choice. You can react with anger, shout, fight, or throw out every hurt word inside you. Or you can pause, take a breath, choose peace over pride. Because here's something people often forget. Your reaction is their reward. When someone disrespects you, especially on purpose, what they really want is your attention. They want your energy. They want your self-control, handed to them on a silver plate, covered in your angry words. They want you to lose control because it makes them feel powerful. But when you get angry and react, you are giving them exactly what they want. You're stepping down from your throne just to argue. And that's not who you are. True power is calm. It's steady. It doesn't move when someone throws insults. It doesn't shake when someone tries to make you mad. Because real power knows one thing. One truth that never changes. You don't have to fight every time someone disrespects you. Not every battle is worth your energy. Some fights are too small for you. Some reactions cost too much. Yes, anger can feel like justice. It feels strong in the moment. But in the end, it doesn't give you peace. It only leaves you tired, caught in a cycle you were never meant to join. Sometimes when you get angry, you become the very thing you're trying to rise above. You give the other person attention. You make the moment about them, when really it should be about you. About how you stay calm, how you protect your peace, how you show that your values are not up for discussion just because someone else forgot theirs. And let's be honest, Sometimes silence is louder than shouting. Sometimes a calm look is stronger than 100 angry words. Sometimes walking away says more than staying and arguing ever could. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. That's emotional strength. And here's the truth. People who love drama can't handle someone who stays calm. When you answer with peace, with control and quiet strength, you don't just respond, you hold up a mirror. They have to see themselves, and that's powerful. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing. No big reaction, no explanation, no energy given. Because not everyone deserves access to your emotions. Not everyone has earned the right to see what's behind your calm. There comes a point in life when you stop explaining what you need and start requiring it. That's what boundaries are. Not walls, not punishments, not threats. Just clear, honest lines about what you allow and what you won't allow. Boundaries are not selfish. They are sacred. They are acts of self-respect. A lot of people feel tired, not because they do too much, but because they tolerate too much. They say yes too often. They try to keep the peace. They fix everything. They hold everything together, and they forget they have the right to say, "This is not okay with me." You teach others how to treat you by what you accept. Every time you stay silent when something hurts your peace, your values, your energy, you are showing them, this is fine. And little by little, those small sacrifices add up. Until one day you feel angry, not just at them, but at yourself, because you gave too much without asking for enough in return. You blame them for crossing lines, but you never drew the lines in the first place. Let's make this clear. Setting boundaries is not about pushing people away. It's about letting the right people come closer. The people who understand that love is not about how much pain you can take. It's about how well you protect your own heart while still being open, kind, and real. Boundaries begin with honesty. They begin when you tell the truth about what hurts you, what drains your energy, what makes you feel unseen, what makes you feel small. And once you speak that truth, you follow it with action. Because words alone are not enough if your actions don't match your words. The boundary is not real. You can't say, "This is my limit," and then keep crossing it, just to keep others happy or to avoid conflict. That's not a boundary. That's just a wish. Some people may not like it. When you start protecting your peace, they might say you're being difficult, cold, or distant. They may say, "You've changed." And guess what? They're right. You have changed. You've grown. You've learned. You realize that being kind doesn't mean being available to everyone. That loving people doesn't mean letting them use you. Being a good person doesn't mean making yourself smaller to fit in the places where people refuse to grow. Here's the truth. The people who truly care about you will respect your boundaries. They might not understand them right away, but they will never ask you to stop being true to yourself just to make them feel comfortable. They will never expect you to keep hurting just so they can feel okay. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to choose yourself. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to rest, to walk away, to ask for more. You are allowed to say, "This is my limit." And you don't need to feel guilty for protecting what's sacred inside of you. Because once you set that boundary, you have to stand by your boundaries, even when it feels hard, even when you feel alone, even when it would be easier to give in. Because every time you stick to your boundary, you're not just telling them something, you're telling yourself, "I matter. My needs matter." There comes a point in your life when silence says more than begging, when distance heals more than arguing, and in that quiet space, you find a new kind of strength. The strength to walk away. Walking away doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean you gave up. It means you finally decided that your peace is too important to give away for chaos. It means you chose to protect your soul instead of trying to prove a point. Because not everything needs an explanation. Not everyone deserves your energy. Sometimes we stay too long in places that no longer help us grow. We hope people will change. We hope they will see us. We think maybe one more talk will fix everything. We give too much to people who don't want to grow with us. We lose ourselves trying to fix what is broken, trying to turn pain into love, trying to make red flags look like hope. But in doing that, we abandon ourselves. You were not born to beg for love. You were not made to chase people who don't chase you back. There is no strength in staying where you are made to feel small. There is no prize in suffering for people who drain your spirit. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is admit that your time with someone or something is over and walk away with grace. Walking away is not weakness. It is deep self-respect. It says, I am no longer available for anything that makes me doubt my worth. You can still love someone from far away. You can forgive them and still remove their access to you. You can wish them well and still choose yourself. There is no guilt in protecting your spirit. You don't need anyone to approve your decision. You don't need others to understand your pain. You already know when something isn't right. You feel it in your gut, that tight chest, that worry before every conversation, that feeling of walking on eggshells. Just to keep peace? You know when the door has closed. You know when you're being tolerated, not celebrated. And when you know, you owe it to yourself to listen, because real healing begins after you walk away. Then, one day, you begin to remember who you really are. You feel clearer, you can breathe again, and you realize the pain of staying was worse than the pain of leaving. Walking away doesn't always look big or loud. Sometimes it's quiet. A slow step back, a private decision made in silence and kept in peace. But make no mistake, it's one of the most powerful things you will ever do, because it shows that you're done waiting for someone else to choose you. You have chosen yourself. Now, let's talk about forgiveness. Forgiveness is not pretending the pain didn't happen. It's not saying what they did was okay. It's not acting like you were never hurt. Forgiveness is not weakness. It's not being naive. Forgiveness is strength, a quiet kind of strength. It says, you don't get to live in my head for free. You don't get to control my heart anymore. But let's be clear. Forgiving someone doesn't mean you forget how they treated you. It doesn't mean you let the same things happen again. Forgiveness is letting go of the weight. Remembering is how you stay wise. There's a reason scars don't go away. They may fade. They may soften, but they stay to remind you, you survived. You grew. You healed. People may tell you, just let it go. But they don't understand. Letting go often starts with facing the pain. You need to name what happened. Feel it. See how it changed you. That's not being bitter. That's being honest. And honesty is the start of real healing. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself. It's saying, I won't carry the pain of what you did anymore, but not forgetting. That's your protection. That's your boundary. That's your wisdom. You can forgive someone and still remember the moment they made you doubt your worth. You can forgive and still walk away. You can forgive and still say, you are not good for my peace. Forgiveness doesn't always lead to getting back together. Sometimes it leads to distance. Sometimes it brings clarity. And sometimes it brings peace with yourself. Even if there's no peace with them, you don't have to let someone back into your life. Just because you no longer hate them, that is not healing. That is self-betrayal. Some people will try to use your forgiveness as a free pass. They might say, I thought we moved past that. That's when your memory becomes your power. You didn't forget. You just chose to stop hurting. You chose to stop reliving the pain. But you also chose not to let them get close again. Close enough to hurt you again. Not forgetting is not holding a grudge. It is holding wisdom. It is learning the lesson without letting the pain control your future. Because after you go through enough pain, you realize peace doesn't come from pretending. Peace comes from seeing the truth and making new choices. You forgive to feel free, but you remember to stay safe. How to handle people who don't respect you. You are not here to beg for respect. You are not here to shrink yourself to make others feel better. You are not here to accept energy that hurts you or makes you feel small. You are here to rise, to stand tall in your truth, to protect your peace because it is sacred. Some people will test your boundaries. They will try to make you feel small. They will ignore your voice. But remember this, your power is in how you respond. Your power is in how you carry yourself. Know who you are. Don't react in ways that go against your growth. Set your boundaries. Walk away if you must. Forgive, but don't forget. And through it all, stay calm, stay clear, stay strong. Because at the end of the day, your life is yours. And no one gets to decide your worth, but you